years, Tehran believed the Strait of Hormuz was its ultimate leverage, a narrow stretch of water where a huge share of the world's oil must pass. If Iran could threaten that artery, it believed it could pressure the entire global economy. So the Revolutionary Guard Navy made its move. Warnings were issued. Tankers were attacked. The message was simple: control the strait, control the crisis. But what Iran did not expect was how quickly the response would come. Because while Tehran tried to weaponize the strait, American carrier groups and submarines were already moving into position. Within days, the confrontation escalated into a devastating blow that crippled most of Iran's naval power. For decades, this narrow stretch of water has been one of the most sensitive choke points on Earth. Nearly 20 million barrels of oil pass through it every single day. Tankers, container ships, and LNG carriers move in a constant flow. Any disruption here sends shockwaves through global energy markets. Tehran understood this better than anyone. So when tensions with the United States and Israel escalated, Iran decided to play its most dangerous card. The Revolutionary Guard Navy issued direct warnings. Any vessel linked to the United States, Israel, or their allies would no longer be safe. In effect, Iran threatened to choke one of the world's most critical economic arteries. The consequences were immediate. Within days, commercial ships were targeted. Drones struck tankers. Explosive boats hit moving vessels. Several ships were damaged. Some were left drifting in open water. Panic spread across the global shipping industry. Insurance rates surged. Hundreds of ships slowed down or turned away entirely. Outside the Gulf, tankers waited in uncertainty. But Tehran believed the pressure was working. If oil prices rose high enough, Western economies would feel it. Inflation would spike, fuel prices would soar, and political pressure might force Washington to step back. But Iran miscalculated. The United States had already prepared its response. And it was overwhelming. Washington reacted within hours. Satellites locked onto the Iranian coastline. Reconnaissance aircraft filled the skies, and beneath the water, American submarines moved silently into position. Then came the visible signal. Two massive carrier strike groups. USS Abraham Lincoln, USS Gerald Ford, among the most powerful naval formations on Earth. When Iran's attacks intensified, those forces went into action. The first wave came from long range. Tomahawk missiles launched in the night. They struck coastal bases with precision. Radar systems, command centers, logistics hubs, almost simultaneously. Then the bombers arrived. B-52s delivered heavy strikes. Targets near Bandar Abbas, Chabahar. Drone facilities. Missile storage sites. Explosions lit up the coastline. Fire followed by secondary blasts. Iranian naval vessels were hit where they stood. Some were destroyed in port. Others tried to escape. But American aircraft were already overhead. Within the first phase, dozens of vessels were destroyed or disabled. Years of naval buildup were undone in days. The scale of destruction shocked the region, but the story was not over. Because the ships that survived had only one option left: run. As strikes intensified, Iran's remaining ships faced a choice: stay and be destroyed, or escape into the open ocean. Many chose to run. Under cover of darkness, ships slipped out of port, heading south toward the Indian Ocean. But they were already being tracked. Satellites followed their routes. Aircraft scanned from above. Submarines listened from below. One ship drew particular attention: the Iranian destroyer Iristina. It had just left India before the crisis exploded. Now it was racing back toward Iran. But the ocean did not hide it. Near Sri Lanka, the trap closed. On March 4th, a US submarine fired. A torpedo struck. The impact tore into the hull. The ship stopped dead in the water. Smoke rose into the sky. Another vessel tried a different path. The landing ship Iris-11 moved toward India, claiming technical failure. It reached port, but was immediately secured. Its crew was placed under supervision. A third ship, Iris-Busher, fled toward Sri Lanka. It too was detained. By now, it was clear. There was nowhere left to run. American surveillance covered vast distances. Ships were tracked across thousands of miles. Some tried to hide among commercial traffic. Others blended into shadow fleets. But it made little difference. More than 70 vessels were destroyed, disabled, or neutralized. A navy once built to dominate the strait was now scattered. And the conflict was far from over. Despite heavy losses, Iran's threat did not disappear, because its strategy was never only about ships. Along the coastline, hidden deep in the mountains, missile systems waited. Underground tunnels, hardened launch sites, command bunkers, weapons designed to strike ships far out at sea, anti-ship ballistic missiles. Fast, precise, deadly. They could reach targets within minutes. Even one hit could shut down shipping lanes. Then came the drones. Shahed systems deployed in large numbers. Cheap but dangerous in swarms. Launched together, they could overwhelm defenses. And the geography made it worse. Narrow waters, small islands, hidden coves. Perfect for fast attack boats. Strike and disappear. Then another threat. Sea mines. Even a small number could shut the strait for weeks. Clearing them could take months. Meanwhile, the conflict spread. In the Red Sea, attacks increased. Another choke point under pressure. Now global trade faced danger from both directions. And the mission for the United States became far more complex. With Iran's navy crippled, a new mission began. Keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Every day it remained threatened, the global economy felt it. Oil prices surged. Insurance costs exploded. Meaty. Tankers waited outside the Gulf. The United States moved quickly. A large escort operation began. Warships guided tankers through the corridor. Aircraft patrolled overhead non-stop. Carrier jets stood ready to intercept missiles. Drones, or fast attack boats, but defense was not enough. American forces struck back. Missile sites were targeted. Drone facilities destroyed. Radar systems eliminated. At the same time, mine-laying operations were stopped. Several vessels were destroyed before they could deploy mines. If those mines had been placed, the strait could have been closed for months. Instead, the worst scenario was avoided. But the conflict had changed. This was no longer just a naval battle. It had become a shadow war, stretching across an entire coastline.